Yes, mga igala, mayong hapon ka na itong tanan. O welcome din sa itong uban sa itong tulumanong tambayan sa Radyo Pilipinas. Anyways, mga katambayan, kamusta mo, no? Wala to itong naging adlaw, no? Kay medyo natuta dito sa laing lugar, no? Pero katong kuan mga igala, itong giyagtuan last time dito sa may Camp Omar sa Dato Hofer, Maguindanao del Sur. Ato itong ipabuhagay diri sa ito ang panag-uban, no? But right now, mga igala, no? Kamusta Kamusta inyong mga life diha, no? Padayon paghihapon ng operation diha sa may may buhangin area mga igala, particularly diha sa may airport. Alam niyo na kung ano 'yon, no? Padayon niyo po ng operations, padayon ng propaganda, nagkuanay na sila propaganda mga igala, no? Kay pati media appeal na sa propaganda. Charing. Grabe na propagandahay nila mga pero ang ato din hino dapat na ibawan nato kung unsa gyud ang kamatuoran, whether ba kinsa kakampi. Okay, sumala pa ni sa to nag-ingon nga kung gusto nimo ibawan ng ang kamatuoran, dapat andam pod ka nga dili pod siya desirable, no? If you want the truth, then prepare to be diligid ang kamatuoran mo na katong dili nato gusto, no? Mo na siya permitted. Mo nang truth hurts. Hindi na ito gusto ang kamatuoran. No? Although, na maghihingan na gid nun, there's a fact, pero nalahi lang pagtuo. So, ang kung naman nato diri, ang standard na nato sa pagtuo diri sa to ang society, no? This has been the norm, no? For many years na kung kinsa ang nagaingon o kung asa ang kadaghanan mo to'y kamatuoran. Mo na isa sa mga lisod karon kay kung asa kung asa tong daghan nga nagtuo bisag mali mo na ang kamatuoran. Well, malagi ni the truth is not always the desirable thing that we need to know. Ingana ganyan siya. But anyways, mga katambayan, dinhita no sa to ang hisgotanan, no, with regards aning dito ta sa katong tatak Pinoy Act mga igala, no, kung asa gipasan itong ni Agi. Asa man to ko ang kwan. Nato diri akong kudig ko mga ka tambayan, no. Asa man to nara. Kaning yatang Tatak Pinoy Act. Katuning gipahigay na regional forum last Wednesday, no. Kung asa ilang gi-present sa Department of Trade and Industry mga igala ang kaning proudly Filipino, no, or kanang kwan ba, no, sa atong mga produkto dinhi sa Pilipinas, no, nga magkaroon og identity. Actually na identity, pero mas ang kwan ang isang purpose is pakusgan, no, ang pagkuan anino sa itong mga local products kay well di na to ikalimod na atong mga local products is perminti matabunan sa mga imported products, no. So it's about time, no, nga mas matagaan og pagtagad ang mga Pinoy products ani mga kuan to mga mga katambayan. But anyways, mga igala, alang sa muhatag og overview sa to nato paminaw, no, ang pahayag, no, ni DTI Assistant Secretary for Competitiveness and Innovation Group nga si Ma'am Leonila Baluyot. Paminaw na to.
Aligned with the Philippine Development Plan as mentioned by Yusek Les Sontayona, the Tatak Pinoy Act is a baby law. It was enacted only last February, and the IRR was effective last August 27. But at DTI, and together with our partner, non-government agencies, national government agencies, private and public sector, we were able to craft various fora, activities, and projects in order to support this Tatak Pinoy Act. It is aligned with the Philippine Development Plan as mentioned by Yusek Les, and it calls for close collaboration among the government, industry, and other stakeholders in enabling Philippine industries to enhance the productivity and competitiveness of the Filipinos. The said law is one of the 12 priority legislations of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., which aims to foster development and uplift the lives of us, the Filipinos. As President Marcos emphasizes, It is more than a branding exercise. It is about fostering excellence and ensuring that products carrying the Made in the Philippines trademark meet the highest standards of quality. The Tatak Pinoy Act has these concepts. Please remember the three concepts that are embedded in the law, and these are economic complexity, product space, and sophistication. When we talk about economic complexity, we talk about the measures of a region's productive capabilities and know-how based on the diversity of goods and services produced and exported. When we talk about product space, this visualizes the connections between products based on the required know-how, helping to guide diversification. Sophistication refers to the high level of technology, skills, and infrastructure needed for producing or offering a product or service. Now, this law mandates the creation of the Tatak Pinoy Council, and I'm happy to see our partners here because the Tatak Pinoy Council is headed by the Secretary of Trade and Industry, and co-chaired, or the Vice Chair, are the Secretaries of Agriculture. Okay, so the Secretaries of NEDA and Finance as the Vice Chair, with the Secretaries of Agriculture, DBM, Information and Communications Technology, Interior and Local Government, Labor and Employment, Science and Technology, and 4 private sector representatives as members. The Council was established to develop metrics for prioritizing Philippine products and services, provide technical assistance in the review of proposed national and local legislation, regulations, or procedures, and coordinate with and encourage the stakeholders in the government to ensure that their respective development programs and policies are harmonized toward promoting the diversification and sophistication of Philippine products and services among its other functions. At the core of this law is what we call the TPS, or the Multi-Year Tatak Pinoy Strategy. And this plan outlines the actions to systematically expand and diversify the productive capabilities of domestic enterprises, empowering them to offer more diverse and sophisticated products and services that can compete globally. Specifically, the Tatak Pinoy strategy shall include plans and programs comparable with international best practices organized according to the following pillars. So when we talk about Tatak Pinoy, it has 5 pillars, and these are human resource, infrastructure, technology and innovation, investments, and sound financial management. Human resource is about definitely developing a skilled workforce in line with the Trabaho para sa Bayan Act. And infrastructure is about identifying and developing essential infrastructure. We also need to advance the strategic market-driven and customer-centric research and development activities and technology transfer activities or initiatives aligned with the National Innovation Agenda and Strategy document. We also have to coordinate with the DTI Board of Investment to incorporate the Tatak Pinoy investment activities and projects into the Strategic Investment Priorities Plan, working with the Interagency Investment Promotion Coordination Committee to ensure alignment with the Tatak Pinoy strategy and collaborating with the Department of Foreign Affairs for foreign investments. Now we also work with the DBCC to include programs that enhance domestic enterprises' capabilities in national expenditure priorities, while this pillar of sound financial management also consider environmental impact, sustainability, and the intergenerational responsibility of TPS policies and projects. The Tatak Pinoy Act also supports Filipino businesses through the following key provisions. Section 12 of the law prioritizes Philippine products and services in government procurement. Example, if there are two bidders, one is domestic bidder and the other one is foreign bidder, and the domestic bidder happens to bid 15% more than what the foreign bidder has presented, then the domestic bidder would still win. So there is an amendment now which is 25%. So even if the domestic bidder would bid 25% higher than the international bidder, we still have preference for that domestic bidder. That's under Section 12 of the law. For Section 13, this one enhances access to financing for MSMEs. Secretary Roque is really bent on developing and leveling up the MSME. Section 13 really has a lens for that one. This one talks about availability of credit to domestic enterprises through innovative financing mechanisms, which include low-interest loans, credit guarantee program, and other modes of financing to help enterprises expand and upgrade technology. Section 14 talks about facilitating market access. Provision of necessary support and assistance to Philippine products and services to access domestic and international markets are included on Section 14. Now, Section 15 introduces green lanes for investments and exports. Establishment of green lanes in concerned national and local government agencies, including quasi-judicial bodies, GOCCs, and government instrumentalities. Take note of Section 16 because this one ensures efficient VAT refund implementation. Implementation of streamlined requirement and process for faster VAT refund of entities with Tatak Pinoy related transactions. Together, these measures are designed to boost the global competitiveness of local industries and significantly strengthen the domestic economy. Now, in support of these acts, the Department of Trade and Industry implemented the Tatak Pinoy Strategy Program. This is to enhance the country's economic complexity and competitiveness in the global market. These initiatives are expected to yield tangible economic benefits such as increasing incomes and living standards of Filipino families, reversing the brain drain or the outflow of Filipino talent, expertise, and know-how, and promoting a wider geographical spread of economic prosperity, especially in less developed areas and disadvantaged sectors. The TPSP is a strategic move to position the country as a hub of innovation and quality on the international arena. To this end, the department came up with 6 program components, complementing the mentioned pillars of the Tatak Pinoy strategy. For this year, the DTI will continue to invest in necessary infrastructure. Of course, we cannot do this without you, our partners, stakeholders, laying the groundwork for long-term support for more complex and sophisticated products and services through the implementation of specific projects and initiatives under each component that I have mentioned earlier. Current initiatives, for the info of all, is the establishment of the Center for Artificial Intelligence Research, or the CARE. The CARE was launched last July 3, so bago pa rin po, and it serves as a collaborative space for data scientists and researchers to conduct AI research and development tailored for various industries. The Tatak Pinoy Industry 4.0 Pilot Factory and Learning Academy, on the other hand, is a model manufacturing hub where key industries and stakeholders can train, conduct research, and gain hands-on experience in Industry 4.0 applications. These initiatives are being undertaken with the assistance of the Asian Development Bank through the Pristine Project. One of the emerging technologies now being explored under this component is the establishment of a wafer fabrication facility, a semiconductor processing facility which processes wafers into integrated circuits. A feasibility study will be conducted to assess the Philippines' readiness, including capabilities in semiconductor manufacturing, electronic component design, and supply chain requirements. Now, this component includes the AI and digital transformation upskilling program for SMEs, designed to equip stakeholders with the skills to leverage Industry 4.0 technologies. It focuses on enhancing digital capabilities and includes the SIRI, or what we call the Smart Industry Readiness Index, assessment training, and certification for local manpower. Last April, the DTI, in collaboration with the International Center for Industrial Transformation, or INSIT, and the Asian Development Bank, conducted comprehensive SIRI training for assessors, equipping them with the expertise to assess manufacturing companies and guide their adoption of Industry 4.0 transformation. Aligned with the pillar, this component's primary goal is to formulate the multi-year Tatak Pinoy strategy and formulate or update the industry roadmaps. Currently, we are working with PricewaterhouseCoopers in the formulation of the strategy, and one of the activities towards this is the industry consultation that will happen tomorrow. Currently, the DTI is in the process of commissioning research papers, studies, and reviews to update existing roadmaps, identify priority sectors and industries, address potential issues, and develop corresponding policy recommendations and propose programs and projects, among others. Now, the DTI is organizing this series of fora, the Tatak Pinoy Act Fora. We had one in Manila already, as mentioned by Yusek Gles, and as listed here, the one in the Visayas for the regions in the Visayas was conducted last August 8 to 9, and today we're having the Mindanao leg, and for the zone leg, it will be by September 18 to 19. Additionally, a digital advocacy campaign, including the launch of the Tatak Pinoy Act promotional video, is planned to present Tatak Pinoy as a holistic and strategic approach to Philippine industrialization. The TPSP prioritizes market access. Our regions would know that we have this market access program, and they have submitted various proposals related to this one. Now, it aims to address the coordination, institutional, and information asymmetry challenges that hinder the Philippines from gaining a comparative advantage in new products and expanding its productive capabilities. In line with this, the program will support activities such as organizing and participating in local and international fairs or shows, trade, investment or innovation missions, business matching events, and other similar activities to promote and grow diversified, high-quality Filipino products under the Proudly Filipino brand. By showcasing Filipino innovativeness and ingenuity to the world, we envision that this will increase demand for homegrown brands. attract more investments, and facilitate national economic growth and development. Now I encourage everyone to actively participate.
So, mo to mga katambayan, no, ang nahimong pahayag ni DTI Assistant Secretary for Competitiveness Competitiveness and Innovation Group mga igala na si Ma'am Leonila. But I hope na tayo nakuha dito, no, or natay na sabtan pod, no, atong presentation ni ASEC Baluyot mga katambayan. Anyways, mga katambayan, balik ito man lang sa mga importanteng pahilumdum ni atong sibianan. Balik kita mga igala din sa itong panaguban sa tutulumanong tambayan sa Radyo Pilipinas, mga katambayan. Yo. Anyways, mga katambayan, no, ganiya itong nadunggad to, no, itong overview ni kuano ni Ma'am ni ASEC Leonila Baluyot mga igala, no, with regards sa kaning Tatak Pinoy Act, no, kung asa gusto sa to ang gobyerno, no, nga mas makuan pa, no, mas strengthen ang ato mga local products, no, nga makahatag og identity o identity, especially og makahatag og marka dito sa international market mga igala. But right now mga igala, kabalo man kita nga ato ang mga kuan, no, ato ang mga produkto or usay ma-overshadow sa atong mga imported products. Anyways, mga igala, speaking of kaning mga local industry, local products nato, no, atong kuno, no, atong sayron mga katambayan, no, kung unsa ang estado sa tuang industriya dinhi sa tuwa sa Davao Region, especially sa business o sa ekonomiya mga igala, no. So importante po na siya, no, para makuan ang kaning mga klase nga kon. Actually diri sa Davao Region daghang mga local products, no, pero alagi dili naman sa tuwa diri sa region na kuan, no, even sa daing lugar na ay mga ingon ana nga mga kaning kuan, no, ginatubang nga di man siya problema, kalisod lang siguro, gamay kalisod, no, sa pagkuan. Anyways, mga katambayan, ato ang paminawon, no, ang Chief Economic Development Specialist sa National Economic and Development Authority 11, no, nga si Miss Emily Janet Salvado, aron nga may baon nato kung usa ang estado sa ato ang industriya sa Davao Region. Paminaw na to.
Castañaga, the regional directors of the Mindanao DTI regional offices, the directors and from the different government agencies present today, this morning, partners from the government sector, the academe, esteemed resource persons, and guests, good morning po. On behalf of NEDA 11 Regional Director Regional Director Priscilla Sonido, who is currently in Cagayan de Oro for a MANCOM meeting, allow me to extend our gratitude for inviting us to present some updates on Davao Region's industries. So on the next slide is the outline of my presentation. I would cover the overview of Davao Region's economic performance, the highlights on some major industries and development strategies as espoused in Davao Regional Development Plan 23 to 28. So apologies po, my focus would be for Davao Region. So moving on, so I'll first cover the Davao Region's economic performance. So in 2023, all 17 regions in the country recorded a positive growth. Davao Region stood as the 5th fastest growing region in the country with 6.7%, higher than the national average growth rate of 5.5%. Next slide. In terms of percentage share to country's GDP, the Mindanao Island contributed 17%, with Davao Region having the highest contribution to Mindanao's total economic output in 2023 at 28%. Next. Okay, Davao Region has consistently performed as one of the fastest growing regions in the country, with an impressive annual average increase of 7.7% from 2017 to 2019. The region's growth momentum unfortunately experienced a setback due to the pandemic, resulting in a contraction of 67 billion pesos or 7.5% in 2020. However, the region remained resilient amidst the challenges brought by the pandemic and was again able to regain its bearing in 2021 with a growth rate of 5.9%. This growth was sustained and further improved in 2022 and 2023 with 8.1% and 6.7% growth rates respectively. Notably, the region became a trillion peso economy in 2023, joining the likes of NCR, Calabarzon, Central Luzon, Central Visayas, and Western Visayas. The notable post-pandemic growth can be primarily attributed to the easing of restrictions, which facilitated the full resumption of operations across major sectors and industries in the region. Okay, the positive economic performance directly translated into tangible benefits for Dabaweños, generating more jobs, as reflected by the slightly improved employment rate, which rose by 0.6 percentage points from 96.5% in 2022 to 97.1% in 2023. Additionally, the poverty incidence in the region slightly declined by 0.6 percentage points from the region's 2021 rate of 11.9% to 11.3% in 2023. While these achievements are noteworthy, there is still a need for sustained efforts to further improve the region's economic performance to achieve our socio-economic transformation goal of a more progressive, broad-based, and strong Davao region by 2028. Now we move on to the Davao region's industries. So next slide. Of the 1.02 trillion pesos economic output of Davao region in 2023, services accounted for 61%, or about 620 billion pesos, followed by industry at 21%, or 251 billion pesos, and agriculture, forestry, and fishing with 14%, or 147 billion pesos. The region is still services-based, as with the rest of the regions in the country except for Calabarzon, which is predominantly industrial. Specifically, wholesale and retail trade and repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles industry had the highest contribution to region's economy at 247 million pesos, followed by the agriculture, forestry, and fishing at 147 billion pesos, and manufacturing at 107 billion pesos. Next. Okay, all industries in the region positively grew in 2023 with other services including the arts, entertainment, and recreation having recorded the fastest growth among industries at 21.5%, followed by accommodation and food service activities at 16.9%, and transportation and storage at 13.2%. Next. In terms of foreign trade, the Davao region's merchandise exports amounted to $2.44 billion US. This is a 7% decline compared to the 2022 export value of $2.63 billion US. The underperformance may be attributed to the decline in the export value of coconut products, processed food and beverages, the natural rubber, chemicals, and other manufacturers. On the other hand, increases were observed in the export value of banana, other fruits and vegetables, and gold. Bananas still the region's top export commodity, followed by coconut oil, other fruits and vegetables, gold, and processed food and beverages. Other fruits and vegetables may include durian, cacao, and coffee exports, which are valued at 17.5 million, 8 million, and 30,000 US dollars respectively. Top export markets in 2023 included the Japan, the China, the South Korea, the Hong Kong, and the United States of America. Moving on to some of the major industries in the region. In terms of agricultural production, Davao region experienced a slight decrease of 0.3% in its overall production of major crops. Among the major crops, the production of coffee took the largest decline by 2%, followed by Cavendish banana with 0.4% and cacao with 0.1%. This decrease can be attributed to the erratic climatic conditions as well as the El Nino phenomenon that took place in 2023. Meanwhile, significant production growth was noticed for rice, corn, and durian with 3%, 6%, and 0.03% respectively. Moreover, livestock and poultry sectors sustained significant growth in production, particularly for the hog, chicken, and beef production. Davao Region's fisheries commercial production significantly increased, surpassing its 2022 production level by 11%, which is attributed to the heightened localized landings of commercial fishing vessels in the region, while municipal and aquaculture fisheries declined by 0.06% and 19% respectively. The decrease in aquaculture production was due to the unfavorable weather condition that disrupted the farm operations. But despite the slight increase in the municipal fisheries production from 2022 to 2023, the region has surpassed the target for 2023 by 223%. So moving on to tourism. Next slide. Okay, total tourist arrivals for Davao Region in 2023 was posted at 3.2 million. This is 51% higher compared to the total tourist arrivals in 2022. The increase again is attributed to Davao Region's hosting of various international and national events such as the Philippine MICE Conference, the Ironman 70.3, as well as the Philippine Experience campaign in Davao, which highlighted top destinations, culture, heritage, and arts. And tourist receipts or spending, on the other hand, reached 21.43 billion pesos. This is an increase of 70% compared to 2022. Now next, in terms of ICT, while we do not have the exact figures on the ICT contributions, growth in the professional and business services, which includes the IT/BPM subsector, and the information and communication industries provide as a glimpse of growth in the region's ICT sector. On the other hand, the National Telecommunications Commission 11 and the Department of Information and Communications Technology 11 reported that the average broadband speeds for both download and upload in Davao Region is at 16.5 megabits per second in the third quarter of 2023 compared to 15 Mbps during the same period in 2022. So the upgrading of systems, the capacity, and the provision of additional equipment contributed to the 10% increase in broadband speeds for the region. Now we move on to the strategies. The region shall endeavor to improve the performance of these industries, next slide, by pursuing strategies laid out in the Davao Regional Development Plan 2023 to 2028, which are consistent with the goal of the Tatak Pinoy Act. Okay, next please. Next slide. Okay, so with the tagline, leading inclusive transformation for a sustainable Davao region, or Let's Dare, the Davao Region Development Plan shall be the region's development blueprint for this period, and it serves as a guidepost for all Davao Region stakeholders in pursuing the region's sustained recovery and vehicle for accelerated transformation to a more progressive, broad-based, and strong Davao Region. So the overall goal is to reinvigorate job creation and accelerate poverty reduction by steering the economy back on the high growth path, and more importantly, accelerate economic transformation and maintaining its national position as among the 3 fastest growing regional economies in the country. Next slide. The overarching strategy is developing and protecting the capabilities of individuals and families to enjoy a prosperous life by promoting their human and social development, reduce their vulnerabilities, and protect their purchasing power and increasing their income earning ability. So another main strategy is transforming the region's production sectors and institutions to generate more and better quality of jobs, as well as competitive products for local and international markets by modernizing agriculture and agribusiness, revitalizing the industry, and reinvigorating the services sectors. So next slide is the strategy to improve the Davao region's industry. So first is that Davao region aims to adopt a whole of society approach in modernizing its agriculture and agribusiness sector. Next slide. With the following goals in mind, first is to enhance the efficiency of the AFF production. Second, to expand access to markets and AFF based on base enterprises. And lastly, to improve the resiliency of the AFF value chain. So given the performance as presented, performance by the sector as presented earlier, the impact of the natural calamities like El Nino, then focus should be given for outcomes. One, that's the efficiency of the sector production enhanced. And for outcome number 3, which is the resiliency of the sector value chains improve. So the strategies are already shown on screen, so I'll not go over them one by one. But moving on to next slide, this is to revitalize industry. So strategies to revitalize the industry sector will be pursued to enhance domestic market production and supplier base, to move up the value chain and enhance intersectoral linkages. Strategies under enhancing domestic market production and supplier base are focused on boosting domestic production, ensuring that the MSMEs and cooperatives are provided with the opportunities and necessary support to be able to participate and substantially contribute to the domestic supply chain. Moving up, the value chain strategies, on the other hand, include expanding financial access of MSMEs and cooperatives. So this is purely aligned with the Tatak Pinoy Act as presented earlier by ASEC. Baluyot. And then, of course, providing assistance to enterprises in developing globally competitive products and enhancing access to international and domestic markets, support in terms of digitalization, technology, automation, and e-commerce, building capacity, developing agri-based manufacturing and mining industries, and increasing the resilience and MSMEs and cooperatives to disasters and external shocks. And then enhancing intersectoral linkages these entail the strengthening of the industry clustering strategy, enhancing linkage of industry with agriculture, aquatic and natural resources and services sectors, creating an enabling business environment, strengthening cooperatives, and strengthening the Davao Regional Inclusive Innovation Center. Next slide. In terms of reinvigorating the services, we will also pursue strategies to reinvigorate the services, particularly in achieving market expansion, strengthening value product proposition in creativity and innovation in services, and enhancing sectoral linkages. So strategies under achieving market expansion include the following. First is to accelerate investments in infrastructure services to support ICT, financial and insurance activities, creative industries, tourism and the services sector in general, aggressively promote for expansion and investments, and ensure safety and security in cyber and physical spaces. Under creativity and innovation in services, value proposition strengthen, the following are the major strategies. It's the formulation of development plans for the creative industries, the tourism, and halal, among others. Pursue the Davao region's creative industries. Provide support for the upskilling of workers and talents, and strengthen intellectual property rights and ecosystem among and across creative industries and in commercializing technologies. And finally, on enhancing sectoral linkages, the priority strategies would include to harness the councils to target the priority interventions and approaches, to increase participation of the IP and the local communities in planning and decision-making processes, facilitate generation of real-time and comprehensive data, and facilitate seamless process or the ease of doing and digitalization of systems of regulatory agency. So I guess that would be all for our presentation.
So, mo to mga katambayan no, ang estado sa atong ekonomiya dinhi sa Davao Region, no? Ekonomiya o industriya sa Davao Region. No? So, hope mas mutaas pa kung sa pang i-improve nato dinhi no aron nga mas kano luyo sa ka nahitabo karon diri sa tuwa sa Davao Region mga igala. I I just hope. Papakapitan na siguro nato pray no nga marisolba na ni mga kalisod or ginatubang karon sa tuwa sa Dakbayan. Ambot kinsa bagi salaan ni kita kaysa magining sala no. Ambot lang parehas man mga kuan no pero well dili man tibok Davao Region ang naay kuan dili man tibok Davao Region dili pod tibok Davao City ang nagka-problema dito lang nga side no pero kanama dito ang vital kuan gud mga igala especially na dito ang airport sa Duol so ay ana medyo ang gateway nato para sa ato ang syudad pangit ang ato ang gateway. Anyways mga tambayan, hatod sunod po no sa ngalan sa tibok pwersa sa DXRT Radyo Pilipinas Davao mga igala ako yung nakawan Armando Fenequito alang sa tambahin sa Radyo Pilipinas. Salamat o maayong adlaw ka natong tanan. Happy weekend sa tanan.